Welcome to Traveling Oracle, the magical podcast, where we talk energetics, spirituality, and how you can use this etheric knowledge to drastically change, transform, and up-level all areas of your life. Are you ready for the glow up? Let's go. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Traveling Oracle, the magical podcast. It has been a while. And I'm so excited to start up our new season for the new year. Well, I like to call it the fake new year because we know that it's not actually the new year. The new year starts in spring. It's always better to move with the natural cycles of life. And I cannot help but think that it has been purposely shifted. This whole New Year concept has been purposely shifted to winter, the death cycle of nature, to confuse our energy. Because why? Why are you trying to make the whole world plant seeds in winter? We know nothing grows in winter. Winter is for hibernation and recovery. So honestly, guys, happy fake new year. Personally, I will be celebrating the new year in the spring. I'll be making my new resolutions in the spring. I'll be doing my vision board in the spring because it's just an energetically aligned time to start afresh, to start anew. But I digress. I'm super excited for this episode because I know it's about to be powerful. There's been so much resistance to recording this episode today. Like so much resistance. I've been fighting myself to record this. And even right before I opened my laptop to start this, my sinuses started to get so blocked out of nowhere. It just appeared. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. And I'm like, you know what? I think there's something powerful that's about to come through. And for some reason, some other things are trying to stop that process. I'm about to push through no matter what. So let's go. So I want to get some housekeeping out of the way. So for 2024 on this podcast, we're going to be doing one episode every 2 weeks. I think I'm going to do every Saturday, or at least every Saturday or Sunday, whichever one it is. I like to leave myself some wiggle room because we don't like too much structure. We need to be free over here. And if you've been following me on social media, you know that my whole thing this year is about teaching people to be energetic masters, teaching people to see, feel, sensate, and hear into the spiritual world. Everything I do this year will be about teaching you energetic self-mastery, teaching you how to be a master of the energetic realms, because that's the place we're moving into right now. Collectively, that's where we're moving to. Collectively, the things that you see and hear me do and other people like me are not going to be strange things that quote unquote special people do. These are going to be things that everyone knows how to do. Opening portals, contacting beings, healing people in the energetic realms, astral travel. These are going to be so common. It's going to be crazy. For those of you who already feel energy somewhat, you should be feeling right now the shifting of energy. Like there is definitely a huge shaking up. Like honestly, how it feels, like the best way to describe it is like there's a jar and there are two hands shaking the jar, like just really shaking it up. The world energetically is swirling because those on the top are dropping to the bottom. Those on the bottom are rising to the top. Everything is up on its head energetically. And it's going to be quite an exciting time to see who comes out on top next, or who comes to the light next, or what darkness is coming to the light as well. That's the other thing. If you look in the celebrity world, child, the things that are coming to the light, the darkness that was done in the darkness is now being brought to light. People who were placed in high esteem. They are falling like coconuts from a tree. Yes, I'm a Caribbean girl, so that's the analogy I will be using. Everything is shifting. Everything is shifting. And when you see these themes on the big scale, what I like to recommend is that you look at your life and figure out what's shifting in my life. What's trying to fade away from the limelight in my life, and what's trying to come up into the limelight in my life? What's supposed to be released from my life right now? What am I leaving behind? And what is trying to be birthed through me in this next chapter of my life? Because I have a feeling collectively, a lot of us are closing out huge chapters. For a lot of us, going forward, we're moving in a completely new way in our life. A lot of you might be considering completely changing your careers, completely changing the way you live your life. A lot of you, your belief systems are shifting on a huge scale. You're no longer seeing the world the way you used to. This is the time for the shakeup. So do not be afraid of the things that are shifting in your life. Embrace it. Embrace it, ride the wave, and reorganize, reshift, and create something new. Listen, change is always an opportunity to create something new. I know it's sometimes scary for some people, but my energy is the energy of transformation. When you enter my energy space, or when you enter my energetic space, you do not leave the same. Something I say to you will switch something in your energy. If you encounter me for coaching services or healing services, your energy signature, your energetic level, your energetic frequency, your knowledge, something about you is going to shift by virtue of your contacts with me. And the fact that you're coming in contact with me, no matter what the mode is or the method is, it means that something is trying to shift in your life. Something is trying to come to the light, some new understanding, some new perspective. Whatever it is, embrace it, honey, because it's an exciting time to be alive. Now, a part of the resistance I've been having with recording this episode is I don't actually know what it's about. I know that it has to do with light and darkness and duality, but I keep asking, okay, what am I going to talk about? What is it? What are the details? And I've got nothing other than when you get there, it will be channeled to you. So I'm going to take a moment. I mean, I did this before, but I also like to do it on the podcast itself. I'm going to take a moment to invite divine consciousness into the space right now. I'm going to ask my spirit team to encamp around me. I'm going to ask the angels that protect me and the angels that help me on my path to come right around me and help me to deliver this message, help me to deliver exactly what those who are listening need to hear right now for the time that we're in. I'm also going to ask that as the listeners listen to this podcast, help the messages from their own spiritual team to come through to them clearly as they listen. Help them to understand the messages through the words that I speak, but also to understand the messages through the energy as I speak and I transmit. Ooh, beautiful. There's been a lot of darkness in the world lately. I mean, there's always been darkness, just as there's always been light. But I'm being directed to speak particularly about the wars that are taking place right now. There are a lot of wars erupting. And I remember, being with a group of friends and thinking, how can it be that in this civilized day and age that we live in, that we are still fighting wars, that we still feel the need to harm each other in this way, that we still cannot figure out how to speak and solve our differences through speaking and negotiation. It's actually crazy. These type of wars are very medieval times. You know what I mean? Like, I remember there was a time before all of these wars got real serious that we're like, oh yeah, we're past that. Like, people can't do certain things in this day and age. But no, here we are. country subjugating country, man fighting man, human being killing human being. Why? Why are we still seeing so much darkness on this planet? And here it is. We are in one of the most important times in human history. This time that we're living through is one that people in the future will look back and read about in their history books. We're in a what would I call this? Pin time, a key point in time where the decisions now deeply affect the road that we take for the future. We're in a time where the human race is evolving. Our consciousness is at the brink of evolution to a next stage that we haven't seen, at least in the history that we have available to us. We're moving from being simply physical beings, pushing through the physical world, trying to break stone with hammers, trying to push boulders up a hill through the sheer force of strength in our bodies. We're moving from a place of seeing the physical as the all into understanding the energetic as the remote control for the physical. Understanding that there are easier ways to manipulate the things that have already manifested into the 3D physical world. And there are going to be so many implications with the way we live and the way we move when that becomes a common understanding. And you might want to check out my episode on the age of Aquarius, where I make quite a few predictions about the way the world will be in this next new age. And I've gotten a lot of downloads about cool technology that's coming that I haven't put in that episode because it came to me after. So perhaps I'll do a little update, but we're moving to a place where the 3D is no longer king, where we understand that the 3D is the end of the equation. And when you reach the end of the equation, there's nothing you can do with the end of the equation. Everything that can be manipulated and changed has to happen at the beginning of the equation. For too long, humanity has been trying to manipulate the end product, the things that have already manifested. We're moving to a place where we realize, oh, this is already done. This is the end product of a manifestation. If we want to change something out here, if we want to bring something new, we've got to go to the beginning. We've got to go to the energetic realms, to the spiritual realms. We've got to start there, create there, and bring about a manifestation as a result of our creation in that space. That's where we're moving to. We're moving to a place where scientists and physicists will finally acknowledge, well, I shouldn't say finally acknowledge because a lot of them already acknowledge this, but will be proud to say with their chest that frequency and light is the key. That frequency and light is what everything is made up of. And if we want to change anything in the world, we have to consult frequency and light. And we're moving to a place where we're understanding the wars that are being fought are not what they seem. Because again, what we're seeing in the physical world is the end manifestation of wars that have been happening for centuries in the spiritual and energetic realms. What you're seeing in the physical is the end manifestation of people who have been working in the energetic and spiritual. And what you have to understand is that the key to peace on earth, again, remember, you cannot change something from the space of what has already manifested. You've got to go to the beginning of the equation. The key to peace on earth is not yelling at the people who are making war and saying, stop this right now, because again, you're yelling at something that has already manifested. You cannot change what has already been manifested. You cannot change the end result. The key to peace on earth is going to the beginning of the equation. going to the energetic and spiritual realm and fighting that on that level. And fighting might not have been the best choice of words, but mediating on the spiritual and energetic levels. Bringing light to the darkness that exists on the spiritual and energetic levels. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, these are things that are bigger than me, Akil. What can I, little me sitting in my room, sweeping the floor while I'm listening to your podcast, cleaning the kitchen while I'm listening to your podcast, putting on my makeup while I'm listening to your podcast? What can little old me do about these huge things that are happening in the world? These huge things that involve many people, that involve governments, that involve people that are in higher places than me. What can little old me, what can I do? Well, let me break it down for you. Because even that feeling of what can little me do, even that feeling that I am powerless, there's nothing I can do, these things are bigger than me, this is out of my hand, even that feeling that you're having is a projection to stop you from doing anything. That feeling that you can't make any change is one of the defenses that darkness has that tries to immobilize you so you do nothing about what's happening in the world. So what can you do? Let's talk about it. Yes, these things are huge themes that are overarching in the world that involve the collective. But let's look at the concept of the collective. What is a collective? The collective is a group, a huge group of individuals. You cannot have a collective without the individuals who make up the collective. So if there is something that's affecting the collective, the key to shifting that effect on the collective is first shifting the effect on the individual. And guess what you are? You are the individual. And so if there's a lot of darkness affecting the collective right now, if there's a lot of darkness, that's the overarching theme that's going on right now, the key to shifting that, the way you can affect that, is neutralizing the darkness in your individual life. Addressing that darkness in your individual life, addressing how that darkness affects you, affects how you think, affects how you speak, affects how you move, the actions you make. Neutralize that darkness on your level that you have control over. Because it's almost like in my mind, I'm seeing a group of dots and they're all the same color. Let's say they're red. And then one individual decides, listen, I don't think it's right, all this redness, and they do something about it in their life. That one dot turns blue. And guess what the next step is after that dot turns blue? That dot is going to shine in its blueness unapologetically. The dots around it that are red are going to say, hey, what's going on with you? Why are you blue? And that blue dot is going to say, well, this is why I'm blue. And guess what's going to happen to the red dots? A few of the red dots are going to say, you know what? I think blue dot got a point. They're going to make changes in their individual lives on the individual level that they have control over, and they're going to become blue. And guess what? All the dots around them are going to say, why are you blue? And that process is going to continue until that blueness shoots through the whole collective. And then the whole collective turns blue, or most of the collective turns blue, but enough to make a difference. That is how you, the individual, make a difference in this world when it comes to huge, huge collective themes. You make a change in your life. You stand on business when you make that change. You don't hide and hide the changes that you're making because it's private. You don't do it in secret. Maybe you do that for a while until you get your confidence up. But at some point, you live out loud with your truth. because the individual change is the first step. The second step is living out loud with the changes that you've made. If it's you meditating and paying attention to your mind and your spirit, you don't just do it in the cover of your house when no one's looking. You let your friends know that you're doing it. You allow your family to see you doing it. You allow people to ask questions. You be okay with being the weird one until you're no longer the weird one, because you know why? You're gonna start beaming. You're the weird one up until people start seeing the blessings on your life as a result of your weird little changes. You're the weird one until people realize, oh, this little meditation thing this person's been doing, they're calmer. They're more in control. They're more poised. Nothing really bothers them. Wow. Oh my gosh, they're now making plans and executing plans. What is going on? You're the weird one up until them blessings start pouring out. Okay? So the second step is living out loud when you make those changes, because once you've made a change in your life, once you've shifted your life, once you've connected with spirit, once you've started to do these things, you then have a responsibility to live out loud so other people can see it. I have a lot of clients who they always look at the grand things like, how am I going to do all of these things? Or even they look at what I do and they say, but Akil, I don't know if I can heal people. I don't know if I can get on social media and talk about blah, blah, blah. You don't have to if that's not what you're called to do. But what you can do is not hide. What you can do is live loudly and authentically in your own way. What you can do is allow your family to see you, allow your friends to see you, allow the people closest to you to see you. And that's enough of a change for the collective, because when they see you, someone they know, someone they trust, someone they've known their whole life, they know your baggage, they know the issues you've had. Without uttering a word, they can see the changes that have happened in your life. And that's enough of a beacon to get them thinking. That's enough of a beacon to get them asking you questions, Googling some stuff, looking on YouTube. What's this about? What does this do? That's enough of a beacon, even if you never get on social media and utter a word, even if you never offer a service to heal a single soul. Living out loud is a powerful beacon for change. And so do not let those intrusive thoughts tell you there's nothing you can do. You are powerful and you are connected. And any change you make personally will shift the collective powerfully. I'ma let that sink in. I'm also being guided to point out, and this is something that I've been back and forth on TikTok with different people about. As spiritual beings, and I expect that everyone listening, well, everyone in the world is a spiritual being, but not everyone has awakened to that fact. By virtue of the fact that you're listening to this podcast, I'm assumed that you're awakened or awakening. Well, we're all awakening because there are a million levels to awakening. But as spiritual beings who are awakened, we cannot turn a blind eye to suffering. And I see this all the time in the spiritual community where people try to hold their quote unquote vibration by ignoring the suffering of their fellow human beings, by turning a blind eye to anything that they deem low vibrational. Anyone living in love and light has a duty to see the suffering of those who aren't currently living in love and light. It is not low vibrational to acknowledge the darkness in the world. It is your duty to see the people who are sitting in darkness, whether by virtue of their own actions or by virtue of the actions of others. It is your duty to see them, because it's only through seeing them that you can help them. The process of ascending in consciousness is not to leave the world behind. If you were to leave the world behind, you would not have been sent to this world in the first place. You are here to have the human experience, and a part of the human experience is living in balance. For some reason, a lot of spiritual people think that the idea of spirituality is to be so high in consciousness that you are not a part of the earth. Don't rush, you'll get there, because a part of the human experience is death. And we are all going to die at some point, and you will no longer be here. Don't waste your time here trying not to be here. See people. See people where they are. Help people. When you see people in darkness, how can you help them? When you see people suffering, how can you help them? I would almost argue that you cannot be living in love and light and turn a blind eye, because that in and of itself is a manifestation of darkness. Closing your eyes to the suffering of others to maintain, quote unquote, maintain your light will have you rotting from the inside out. It will have you rotting from the light. And some people aren't going to understand that concept because it's not one that makes sense in words, but look at it in energy. It's like that action. It's like I'm seeing a ball of light where you're sitting in love and light, and that action of ignoring others, that action of ignoring suffering, that action of refusing to help others who are not yet on your level, that have not yet achieved your vibration. I can see a small dot of darkness starting right at the center. And the more it gets bigger, and I'm hearing ego. Oh, okay. Yep. And the more you do it, it's the bigger that dot of gray and black grows. And you will start rotting from the inside out, because then you start to believe that you're better than others, that you're higher than others. It's an interesting concept how darkness can manifest itself even surrounded by light. Ooh, anyway, I'm gonna get stoned for that one, but it is what it is. Compassion is a quality of love that keeps light pure. If you do not have compassion, you will start to rot. Your light will start to turn to darkness slowly but surely. And perhaps that's why we have so many spiritual narcissists walking around. They didn't start that way, but they lost compassion for others. Their lack of compassion started to taint their love. And so I want you to remember that. Helping others, acknowledging the suffering of others, and helping others will only serve to brighten your light, never taint. Thank you for that message, Spirit. Thank you. And I'm trying to see if that's the entirety of the message. I think it is. This message was very much about duality and polarity, and finding the balance between them, because the midpoint between them, they don't exist. Does that make sense to you? The midpoint between duality, if you have the left and then you have the right, once you find that middle, you're no longer on the left or the right. You're in a completely different space where duality is dissolved. But in the middle of that space where duality is dissolved, you are made up of the polar opposites. You are made up of the left and the right. The middle is the middle by virtue of the left and the right. So acknowledging that duality, acknowledging its space in existence, dissolves its hold over your life. I hope that your spiritual team helped to project pictures of that into your consciousness so that you can understand. And that's the other thing. When you listen to my episodes, I think the best way to hear this message, because any message that I put here, they're the words that I say, but honey, there's the energy that's being transmitted with the words. So when you listen to the episodes of this podcast, ask your spirit team to open up your perception so that you can receive the messages at all levels that they're being transmitted through, so that you can get a really rounded understanding of the concepts that are presented here. All right, my love. I don't like to bombard people with too much information. I like to just drop it, sprinkle it, and let you sit and marinate with it. And so, this is going to be the end of this episode. If you have anything to add to this conversation, feel free to send me an email. Feel free to send me an Instagram message. I'm always interested in hearing from you. And if I get anything from you, I'll read it in the next episode, especially if you brought a new and interesting perspective. I always love to hear from you. All the information for where you can find me will be below in the, oh God, I haven't recorded a podcast in so long that I don't remember. Is it a description box, in the notes, show notes, whatever it is? It'll all be there. Be sure to check my program, Energetic Self-Mastery with the Moon. We're going to be starting with the first new moon of the year, and it's in Capricorn. I think, yeah, it's in Capricorn. And in this energetic self-mastery, I am teaching people to see, feel, hear, smell everything in the energetic realms. And we will be doing this by following the energy of the moon, the easiest cosmic body to connect to, because it already affects our psyche so much. It already affects a lot of the rhythms in our body, especially for females. It is a powerful celestial body to connect to. We're going to be doing shadow work with the new moon, as well as the full moon, as well as outlined rituals to do on the night of the new moon and on the night of the full moon, because I want you to physically do energy work. I want you to be able to be a master of doing energy work for yourself. I don't want you to have to continuously come to me or someone like me. It's time for all the individuals in the collective to learn to move and sway and align with energy, to become masters of energy. And that starts with regular touch points with the energetic realms. And so the moon goes into a powerful phase every 2 weeks. It's the new moon or the full moon. And if you follow the path of doing ceremonies or doing small rituals with each of these phases, you would have powerful energetic touch points with the energy realm, and you will be building your spiritual energy. You'll be building your connection with energy and spirit. Your spiritual gifts will deepen, new ones will appear, because energy work is like flexing or building muscles. The more you do it, is the stronger you get. My loves, I'm going to leave you with that. If no one has told you today, I love you, and I will see you in my next episode. I always say see you. I will speak with you in my next episode.